Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I have to tell you all, I've been somewhat astounded, and on the Buy Me a Coffee account, which is the business and first class sections of Jet Black Air, I will go more in depth about something. But right now, I will only touch lightly upon it here to let you know what is available there. But also, I'm going to point out to some of you knuckleheads the importance of appreciating a blessing when you have it. I've had an interesting talk with my daughter, another one with my mom. I do not have to check them. I have to correct them sometimes, and they have to correct me at times, but I have to update them sometimes. That's mostly what I have to do. I have to update them, and that's a good thing that I have to, because I should have had to update them. And I think that you brothers in the black manosphere that are red pill aware are making sure that we must update them, and that's a good thing in terms of brothers being treated fairly. But I also want to tell you, I'm not going to tell you all completely what the conversations have been about here. You need to go to Buy Me a Coffee for that one. And if you decide to make a one-time donation, you will probably be able to hear that for about 36 hours after I upload it there. But if you become a recurring member monthly, that's first class. That's not business class. That's first class. And that allows you to hear it into perpetuity. I need to tell you all this, though. Some of you guys are living what the Reverend Brother Pastor Deacon Dr. Hurricane Edward Allen Anderson has discussed, and that is the need to check your moms. Some of you have to check them. You're forced to. You must check them, because if you don't check them, they wind up wrecking you. You don't have a choice. You must do it. I want you, gentlemen, to I want you to prepare yourselves for that. If you don't have to check them, then you don't have to. If you have to, then I want you to be prepared. And you have to really almost obsessively, for some length of time, think about this so-called battle of the sexes, which is really a gender war, in order to be able to explain the consequences of it and the results of it. Because remember, the war is not our effort. We did not turn this into a war. We did not turn this into a fight. You can't really convince hetero men to do that. As I've stated, I was lucky because I was raised by a loving mom who told me what she knew and could explain. Some of you were lucky and others of you were not. And others of you were raised by moms that were loving, and you were lucky in that regard, but not about this. What you needed the most to be able to explain was kept away from you. What you needed her to explain, she did not. Either she couldn't but I'm talking mainly about those whose moms would not. You must prep yourself. If you want to know what I had to tell my daughter and what I had to tell my mother, you'll have to go to the first class or the business class section of Jet Black Airways. But I can tell you this. One of the outcomes of this battle of the sexes, as people call it, which is really a gender war, is that I've had to make a discovery about my health. Unfortunately, we discovered it early enough to get it under control and make it a minor thing. But it has led to suspicion about something else, and I've had to say that if the suspicion is true, and I don't know yet, but if the suspicion is true, one of the major causes has been this. I want you guys to keep this in mind. If you don't apply the actual solutions to this, you will have bad memories that will plague you, that will haunt you. Many of you in the Black manosphere are busy creating a better culture, or you're trying to. And that is even more important than your ReBlacktration, and it is more necessary, and it is more realistic. That, while I do believe that ReBlacktration is going to be necessary to keep it such, the fact is that you still, in order for the ReBlacktration to mean much, you still must have this practice you are now coming up with of reaching for the Malcolm X standard and deniggerizing. No more being the idness. You're breaking away from that. You're saying, I'm not going to be that, and I'm damn sure not going to be that for Boom Shika or Bonquisha. That is very important. It's necessary. You're not going to get any results if you don't do that. And if you don't do that, but you ReBlacktration, you ReBlacktration for nothing. You will export nigger culture, kill-ture. And if you do reach for the Malcolm X standard and you change the culture that you will support, and you shed the idness, but you don't ReBlacktration because you can't, then you have still done more for your people and those around you who will follow that same example. You might actually make America a place worth it for me to move back to. You might. I seriously doubt it, and that is not your fault. You would prevent a lot of other young brothers from growing up into men who are haunted and plagued by bad memories, bad consciences. I don't think I need to say more about that in this particular release. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to record what is needed for Buy Me a Coffee, but I mean it sincerely when I say that I hope that what I've said helps you. Play this and send it to brothers that you see being knuckleheads and thinking that that's the way to go. Let them know about the Malcolm X standard. I really don't think that we're going to be able to make a better life, collectively speaking, for ourselves as Black men, except through the example of Malcolm X. And I mean the one that passed away. I don't mean the one that was selling bean pies and wearing bow ties and talking about motherships. I'm not talking about that. That's the beginning. But the Malcolm that was in the prison library teaching himself the very literacy that many of us deride now as talking white, and the Malcolm that into which he developed at the time of his death with the extreme self-discipline is the Malcolm that I can see us emulating and being better for it. I really think that Malcolm needs to be studied. I hope that helps. Thank you for listening, as always, and I'm sorry for the length of time that I've been absent and not recording, but family comes first. I haven't seen them in 3 years. And I will say that what I've learned lately on this trip has been a lot. But it does take time, and it takes time away from recording and uploading. But I really do hope that this one helps. Thank you for listening, and as always, Black Heart, Black Mind, Black Out, Assalamu Alaikum, Black Heterosexual, non-select male power because they don't like it, and Black Patriarchy until extinction of Judgment Day. Thank you for flying with us here on Jet Black Airways, where the phrase Jet Black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us till the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender justice forever.